wanting to keep somebody who wants to eradicate your culture in your country when they're not a citizen, that's suicidal empathy.
He's a resident alien. He can be deported under U.S. law for if the Secretary of State has any reasonable ground to believe he would have a potentially serious adverse foreign policy consequence. And you mentioned he's a resident alien. He can be deported under U.S. law for if the Secretary of State has any reasonable ground to believe he would have a potentially serious adverse foreign policy consequence. And you mentioned the student organization. The student organization put out. Let me finish.
But before you move on, because I think that's a really important point, right? That's the statute that they're using.
Yeah.
Have you seen any evidence to suggest that there is actually a serious reason to believe that this student is going to be a threat to national security?
I mean, I've certainly watched the abomination that's gone on at Columbia and Barnard and other places, and I will just tell you.
Threat to national security.
And I'll just tell you that his
absolutely. And also, being a threat to national security is not the only expectation. A person could be dangerous. Like, I think that, like, saying a threat to national security is an attempt to minimize his behavior in order to justify defending him. The fact is, this person paid lip service and was part of an organization that promoted a terrorist organization. He was a leader of the organization. Playing it down, yeah, this is, again, do you guys see this? This happens constantly. The exploitation and the intentional manipulation of language is one of the most pervasive and, I would say, subversive tools that a lot of people use that is extremely persuasive to people that don't have a lot of, like, I would say, like, verbal intelligence. And you see this happen, and it doesn't get explained very often because most people, honestly, straight up don't understand it.
I'm not going to let you move on because this is the
I'll tell you why it's a threat to national security if you let me answer you.
Well, Scott.
Do you want me to answer you or not?
Okay.
His organization says we are dedicated fighting for the total eradication of Western civilization.
Okay.
He's not a citizen.
Okay. Case closed. Get out. Easy enough. Yeah. How could you possibly debate this? And this is the issue. Is that these people are nailing themselves up to a cross of a person who is supporting a terrorist organization and is part of an organization that wants to eradicate Western civilization. How do you, like, this should be the easiest W of your life. How does anybody argue against this? It's unreal.
Scott,
he doesn't need to be here.
I don't want to. You just described him having viewpoints that you disagree with.
Again, this dude, it's actually insane how manipulative the language is. Viewpoints that you disagree with. Oh, well, that's, this abstract, like personal opinion, just a general idea. Again, you see how this is happening. What crimes did he commit personally to deserve deportation? It's hard to say whether he committed a crime, but there's a higher standard of conduct for people that are green card holders than people who are naturalized citizens. Yeah, there's a higher standard of conduct. And he wasn't meeting that conduct. So he's getting deported, hopefully. I heard that it got blocked. And there should be? Yeah, they should be. And I support this completely. I hope they do this to more of them. We have enough troublemakers in the country already without importing new ones on green cards to start even more trouble. Who needs this?
Is that enough to have someone lose their rights in this country?
He has viewpoints that, in my opinion, jeopardize.
Yes. He doesn't have a right to be here. No non-citizen has a right to be here.
The security of the United States.
But how?
He is obviously a radical who is here to foment.
No, he's not a radical at all.
Violence against the United States government.
He's not a radical at all. And he's part of an organization that wants the total eradication of Western civilization. That's not radical. Do you want to know what I think is really sad? Is that I believe them. I think that's not radical for them. I know this helps your content. I applaud someone with common sense. You're just tired of this crap and face palming hard at their stream. Like, what the fuck is wrong with people? No, I think that it's a difference of opinion. Yeah, exactly. I don't mind this at all. And I think that it's important to call this kind of stuff out because I think this type of, especially like verbal manipulation, is so pervasive nowadays. And most people, I'm going to be honest, don't even notice it.
He wants to destroy Western civilization.
Against the United States government.
You're saying
Scott?
eradicate Western civilization doesn't make you a radical?
Has he acted in any way that is
I think
violence against the United States government, as you just said?
I think these protests...
What a great argument. Somebody who wants to eradicate the entire country, we have to wait for them to do it. Eradicate the culture. We have to wait for them to do it before we get rid of them. What a great way to look at it. Yeah, let's wait for it to happen. That's smart.
And the violence they have fomented and the intimidation and fear against the Jewish kids on these campuses is absolutely an act of insurrection against the United States.
I don't think any American speech, Scott. That's enough.
Look,
yes.
Look, what they have...
Yeah, it is. Categorically, it's enough. And I think that every normal person in America would say that they want somebody deported who is actively a supporter of a terrorist organization and wants the eradication of Western civilization. Any normal person who's not been radicalized by the internet, if this person is not a citizen, get them the fuck out. And also, let's apply a little bit of logic to this too. This is what I said yesterday. Johnny Somali goes to Korea and he acts a fool. Korea puts him in jail for 10 years. Everybody's happy. And do you want to know one of the reasons why Koreans were so angry? It's because he was trying to like dry hump one of the like Korean comfort women statues that were like relics of World War II because of war crimes. It was blatant disrespect to their culture. And everybody was supporting this and thinking that it's a good thing. And by the way, I completely support Korea for putting this person in jail. You are a visitor to this country. You are not a citizen in this country. You are a guest. Get the fuck out. If you're doing this, if you go to Russia and you start talking about how bad Russia is, you're going to get kicked out of Russia. If you go to China, I don't think you're even going to get kicked out of China if you do that. If you do this anywhere else in the world, you would immediately get removed because it's common sense. If someone comes into your house and they start complaining about it constantly and, you know, supporting somebody burning down your house, I would tell them, please leave my house. In any other abstraction of this logic, it becomes outrageously retarded. But inside of this contrived and ridiculous line of reasoning, we are defending a person who wants to eradicate all of Western civilization and supports a terrorist organization. And this is the person who is worthy of support. And I know there's like 5 people in chat that actually think this, right? But I'm saying that there is a large enough contingent of people that think this, that it's a conversation point. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. I actually think the guy who departed from Colombia should be put in Gitmo. Well, I don't know about that. Just send him back to his country. Fuck that. I don't want to spend money keeping this guy in jail. Fuck that. I don't want to deal with that.
Engaged in is a clear threat to the United States. And if you want the United States to be overrun by radicals the way Europe has, be my guest. But I think the president needs to stand up for the integrity of the United States.
What is the threat?
The threat of our country being, and our college campuses being overrun by radicals who are trying to run Jewish kids off of campuses and anybody else who disagree. Yes, they are. In UCLA. No, in UCLA.
It's not about whether they're Jewish or not. It's got nothing to do with it. Like if he was doing it towards like white people, black people, anybody like that. And also like this is another really good component to it is that if this was a person who was a white person who's come here from another white country and they were joining the KKK, everybody in this panel here would be saying to deport them. Everybody would be saying this. So really, it's another argument of optics. The logic here is perfectly like sound. Because they're white. Yeah, exactly. It's all emotional optics reasoning. This is like whenever I was talking about people having what, like suicidal empathy, I would argue that wanting to keep somebody who wants to eradicate your culture in your country when they're not a citizen, that's suicidal empathy. Selective picking of information? Yes. No, they wouldn't, because legal immigrants are given protections under the Constitution as well. Legal immigrants are given protections under the Constitution as well. Well, number one, he's not a citizen. So, like, you're saying an immigrant, anybody who comes from this somebody immigrating, not all immigrants are equal. There are some people who have immigrated illegally. There are some people who have immigrated legally. There are some people who have diplomatic immunity because they're diplomats from other countries. And there are some people who are on green cards, other ones that are on work visas, etc. So for you to just say immigrant and using this broad term, this is another, again, intentionally dishonest use of language. Again, asylum seekers, yes, another intentionally dishonest use of language in order to push an agenda that is, in my opinion, massively regressive. He said legal immigrant. Yeah, but there are multiple types of legal immigrants, and each one has a different classification and expectation. And also, like, some legal immigrants are citizens, some are not. The bar for behavior for them is different. Here's the truth. If this guy was an American citizen, I would completely support his right to do this. But he's not. We have enough terrorists here that we have to support their First Amendment right to be fucking terrorists. We have enough of them. We don't need to import new ones. No, you would not. Why do you think I wouldn't? Insane agenda? No, we're not. No, why do you think I wouldn't? This has got people fired up. A lot of people got a lot of opinions about that. Yeah, people are really upset about this. And also, what's the logic? If somebody is a citizen, then how could we deport them? Where would we deport them to? Really? Like, where would they go? Like, are we going to have, like, I don't know, we can send them to, like, El Salvador's prison or something like that? It doesn't even make any logical sense. Usually agree with you, but I don't today. No. What I'm saying, I'm at work. I can't type it all out. So protesting is cause for deportation. Protesting, that's fucking retarded? Yes. If you are protesting in support of a terrorist organization and you're not a citizen, absolutely. Yes. 100%. Like, I would absolutely support that. Get the fuck out. You are a non-citizen. Get off our lawn? Yes. It's that's not the same as saying that you would fully support them when you said it was terrorism. Well, okay, so whenever I say I would fully support them, is that a person's First Amendment rights are very important. And a person does have a right to hate Western civilization and want to eradicate it in a certain extent, right, as a citizen. And my point is that because we have to deal with those people, and that's already really fucking annoying. Now we have more of this to add in. Trump's in 5 minutes? Yeah. Let's just wrap this up. I'm going to time you out. You've been very annoying, but I don't think it's a ban. But, it's almost a ban. The problem isn't the actual protest, it's performative type of propaganda. Yeah. legal immigrants also have First Amendment rights? No, actually, they don't. Green card holders do not. That's the whole conversation point for this. No, they don't. Yeah, it's just this simple.
They wouldn't even let them go to class.
First of all, they were
Columbia's an
Says who? The people that wrote the laws.
First of all, there were violent counter-protests at UCLA that were done by Jewish organizations.
No, both sides.
No, that's true. He's right. The guy in the cowboy, he's right. There were. I watched it happen. And the fact is that the violent counter-protests were the ones that were initiating, and at least the part that I saw, they were the ones that were escalating things into violence because they were attacking the Rust base, basically, that the pro-Palestine people had created. They were.
Anti-Semitism is a scourge.
You saw one video? I watched the live stream of it happening as it happened.
Absolutely
is that it is not clear that this particular student has engaged in the specific actions that he was talking about. And you've shown me no evidence of that either.
Okay, well, guess what? He is not a citizen. If he were a citizen, I might feel differently. He's a guest in this country.
Okay.
It's my view,
so in other
and
words,
it's the Trump
you don't
administration.
have proof, but it doesn't matter.
No, I didn't walk in here with my gumshoe investigative case, Abby. But here's what I do think: this guy's running an organization at Columbia that has ruined 2 solid years of people's lives.
Deported based on allegations that you have not substantiated.
I think he should be deported based on what the Trump administration has already identified. He is a threat to the national security.
But here's his affiliation.
Statute you quoted. It's an obscure statute, old statute that's being used, is about being against U.S. foreign policy, right? So, for example, when I was part of protests in Miami, when the Clinton administration and Janet Reno returned Elian Gonzalez to Cuba, is that...
Were you trying to eradicate Western civilization?
No, I was trying to stop the U.S. government, and I was protesting against what the U.S. government had done.
Were you occupying buildings?
I was protesting.
Were you fomenting violence?
I was doing what that...
Were you inciting others to engage in violence?
I was doing what that statute said.
Were you chasing
I was
people
against
around?
U.S. foreign policy.
Were you intimidating people?
Okay,
we were shutting down streets.
My view is that we're in a fight for the future of Western civilization. This guy's on the wrong side of it, and he don't need to be here.
It's obvious. How could anybody argue against this? It's so fucking obvious. Ask your chat if they think green card holders can vote in presidential election. It'll weed out the dumb ones who don't understand the difference between a resident and a naturalized citizen. That's actually a great point. Yep, there you go. Yep, they can't vote. Wow, what a surprise. I never thought of that, but that's a really good way to look at it. Absolutely. This is the end of it. Yep, there it is. I didn't realize that was the end of it. And so, yeah, there you go. They just didn't want to be us. Yeah, CNN have deliberately chose these people for this talk. Yeah, I think so. And the fight for future Western civilization, wild statement. That's not really important to me. The point is that a person who is an obvious troublemaker and who is supporting terrorist organizations and advocating for the eradication of Western culture, if I can find a way to kick them out of the country, I'm going to do it. And if I can't do it, I'm going to support the person who does do it. Absolutely. And I think everybody else should do the exact same. It is unbelievable to me that this is even a question. It is a shock. Green card is a privilege, not a right. Yep, that's right. 100%. People arguing against deporting this guy have me losing faith in democracy. Why? They're the minority. Like, yeah, there's a few retards out there that think stupid stuff like this. For sure there are. But there's a very, very small minority of them that think this. It's actually a very small minority. Too many? I think it's a bit much, but it's a loud minority, but that's it.